Welcome to Awaz News. I'm Simona Cotoni and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Trudeau and Germany Scholz cool to the idea to exporting Canadian natural gas to Europe. Premiers of Ontario, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island to meet today for healthcare summit. Tipflation has some restaurant asking for up to 30% in tips. Police filed terrorism charges against Pakistan's ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan. Transportation Safety Board investigators probing Toronto Island Ferry dock crash. St. Mary's Hospital Emergency Department will reduce the operating hours this week. Thunderstorm causes flooding in parts of Greater Toronto Area. So those were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his German counterpart, Chancellor Olaf Scholz, appeared to pour cold water on the idea of shipping Canadian natural gas to Europe when asked about the proposal today. At a press conference in Montreal, the two leaders instead suggested their priority is developing cleaner energy sources like green hydrogen in Canada for export to Europe to help solve the continent's energy crunch. While not ruling out a role for Canadian natural gas in elevating energy shortage, Trudeau said there isn't a clear business case yet for building a liquefied natural gas export terminal in St. John, New Brunswick or elsewhere. Trudeau said natural gas would have to be shipped by a pipeline from the gas field of Western Canada to a still unbuilt liquefaction terminal on the Atlantic coast. It would be a costly undertaking and might not be prudent investment given Europe's commitment to a rapid transition to a cleaner economy, Trudeau said. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is scheduled to meet individually with New Brunswick Premier Blaine Higgs, Prince Edward Island Premier Dennis King, and Federal Intergovernmental Affairs Minister Dominic LeBlanc prior to the summit. Ford met with his Nova Scotia counterpart Tim Houston on Sunday in Halifax to discuss healthcare system pressures. His visit to the Maritimes comes as Ontario's health system has been strained by the staff shortages in the recent weeks. Some emergency rooms have been forced to close for hours or even days at a time. Atlantic Canada's provisions have also been contending with doctor shortages, surgery delays, and recurring emergency room closures. The Premier of Ontario, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island will meet today in Moncton for a summit to discuss Canada's struggling healthcare system. The amount Canadians are being asked to tip when paying with credit or debit card is going up, and it could be encouraging Canadians to be more generous with gratitudes. A survey conducted by the Restaurant Canada in April 2022 found when dining out at a table restaurant service, 44% of the 1,500 Canadians surveyed said their tips are higher compared to the before COVID-19 pandemic. Suggested tips are increasing as well, according to the Calgary restaurant reviewer Elizabeth Carson, who noted prompt on the credit card machine that previously asked for tips of 10 to 20% have now crept up to 18, 20, or 25%. Carson has also been asked to tip as much as 30% and said she finds the higher prompts annoying. It's leading to an overall feeling that could be called tipflation. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada has deployed a team of investigators to gather the information and assess the occurrence after a Toronto Island ferry crashed into Jack Layton Ferry Terminal late Saturday afternoon. The first part of this investigation, known as the field phase, entails the information the public of TSB's deployment of the occurrence site, securing and examining the occurrence site, examining and photographing the equipment, vehicle of wreckage, interviewing the witnesses and company and government personnel, selecting and removing the wreckage for further examination, and reviewing the documentation. From there, investigators from the independent agency, which probes air, marine, pipeline, and rail transportation occurrences with the sole aim of advancing of transportation safety, will then examine and analyze their finding and prepare a report that will be released to the public as quickly as possible. During an investigation, the board, which has investigators in 8 regional offices, worked with all the level of government, transportation companies, equipment manufacturers, and individuals, including survivors, witnesses, next of kin, and operator. They also collaborate with the coroners and the medical examiner and police or fire department and search and rescue team. The vessel involved in this collision, the Sam McBride ferry, has since been removed from service. It is not yet known when the boat will be resumed its duties. However, the City of Toronto, which operates the island ferry, said the timeline for return to service will be shared as soon as it's known. The city also said due to the August 20 collision, ferry service between the terminal and Toronto Island will also be running at a reduced passenger capacity until further notice. The emergency department at a St. Mary's, Ontario hospital is reducing its hour of operation this week due to staff shortages. The Huron-Perth Healthcare Alliance says the emergency department and St. Mary's Memorial Hospital will close at 5 p.m. on Monday night. It is scheduled to open at 7 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. from Tuesday through Friday and resume 24-hour service on Saturday at 7 a.m. It's the latest in a series of similar closure across the province as the health sector contends with the staff shortages, particularly among nurses. The issue has been especially acute in rural hospitals, and it's not the first closure this summer in the Southern Ontario region around St. Mary's. The Huron-Perth Healthcare Alliance says the emergency department at its Seaforth Community Hospital resumed regular hours on Monday. Thunderstorm moved through Greater Toronto Area on Sunday and brought heavy rain, causing some streets and homes to be flooded. Environment Canada issued several weather advisories for the region, including a severe thunderstorm warning in Peel region and a special weather statement for Toronto and York region. In Peel region, a storm over Brampton and the Southern Caledon region was nearly stationary, leading to many areas receiving approximately 100 millimeters of rain. Environment Canada said a total rainfall in excess of 120 millimeters was possible in those areas, which already got significant rain from a storm on Saturday. Awaz News viewers sent a video showing one person kayaking down a flooded road in the area off Ontario Street and Highway 10. Another Brampton resident said Sunday's downpour flooded his basement. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Simona Cotoni, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.